it just
Ooh,
thank
okay.
you.
Okay. First of all, couple of things that I apologize that I made two mistakes on the study note. First one, because Lisa, you're here, right? You asked me a question about the Dhamma theory, and I said that I sent out the wrong study note for the Abhidhamma. Sorry,
Dhamma theory.
yeah, I didn't send out the wrong thing. I just did not send out the Dhamma theory. Okay,
Mhm.
so for the study note, if I didn't send out the study for the Dhamma theory, it's because of what?
So I got an email from you on May 30th with an
Yeah.
update to it.
No. If you want to study on the Dhamma theory, then you go to the May 5th, the correction.
Mhm.
If you want to go to the original note, study the original note about Abhidhamma, you still keep what I sent before. So it was not an error.
Mhm.
So do you guys guess what I mean now or not?
No.
Okay.
Can-
Some of us aren't
Thank-
playing vague very well today.
Okay.
Then could we go over on the question exactly how we should answer? It's a consider complete answer.
I already sent in the final exam questions submitted, but the final exam question cannot be all identical to the mock exam question. So when I send out the study note, I have something else in my mind. Okay. Being that said, the final question that I submit may not be exactly the question the university choose. There would be slight, according to my understanding, there would be slight difference from the final question that I submitted. But then nobody would know what would be the final questions, final exam questions. I submit from my part. So when I send out the study note for you guys to study, that's what I'm saying that, study.
Those are your broad general
Yes.
topics. Possibly these topics could be addressed in the final. Possibly.
You put it very well. Okay, Francesca. So like I said, if you want to study the Dhamma theory, learn more from it, then you go to my revised, corrected study note on Abhidhamma. If you would like to study what I sent out before, then you study what I sent out before. Make sense? Okay.
Yes.
Lisa, does it make sense to you?
I just like to know
Uh-huh.
if there's a question about Dhamma theory,
Okay.
regardless of how it's gonna be asked, but something about Dhamma theory.
Right.
How do we
That is the
explain?
answer that I send out. That is how you answer on the corrected file that I sent to you
On May 30th?
on May 30th. Okay. It might be asked, it might not be asked.
But I was thinking, even though it might not be asked, at least I like to know exactly what that is. What's the purpose of knowing all that Dharma
Yes.
theories
Yeah, that's
in
what I
terms
said.
of
You
learning
need
the
to-
Buddhism teaching?
Right. That's what I said, that if you want to, learn how to answer the Dhamma theory, go to the May 30th, that, the one that I sent out, as if it's a correction. Okay. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's number one. The final exam question, nobody know until it's delivered. And all I can say is I submitted my part. What they, the university want to alter or change or edit or add or subtract, I have no control.
Mhm. We
Okay.
understand. Mhm.
All right. And it's not 100% match the mock exam question. Okay. Now, when I send out the study notes to you guys, I'm just saying that these are important.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's one. Second thing, I'm going to get to my message and see what happened here.
So we don't have any indication that they might just roll 3 or 4 questions into one?
Who knows?
Well,
Those are the ones I hate the most.
We're just
I
happy.
have
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
I have no control on that.
We're just happy to
So-
have Caddy for a review, We're fortunate that a teacher will talk to us, after the class. We're happy.
Another thing is that Venerable Kongyan advised us that don't use bullet point answering a question. Use paragraphs.
Mhm.
Let me give one example here. Let's see. Like study note number 1. The introduction to Chinese Tipitaka, right? So if you want to list, the why is it, see, why is it Buddhism flourish in China? There are certain reasons that I list on the study note with the bullet point, right? I got all the bullet point here. What I would do is that I'll just turn that into paragraphs. You can combine 2 or 3 bullet points into one paragraph.
Mhm.
Okay. One of the example, like, one of the reason, it's because there are great translators, for instance. Okay, and I listed like Buddha Bhadra, Dao An, like Kumarajiva, Xian Zhang, all these, you can just say, maybe take 3 or 4 examples of those names and make it like, like, for example, Xian Zhang's from the, how many, pieces that he translated. Give an example, like, the Lotus Sutra. Give example like the Prajna Paramita, Kumarajiva also, right? Just, one paragraph saying that, there are great translators. For example, Xian Zhang is one of them. He has 3,000 translators following him. He has 2 great disciples that, and he emphasized or specialized in the Yogacara school, and he translated vast volumes of the Mahayana Sutras. Okay, just one or two sentences, and then you can use like one, I would say three most, or Dao An or Yi Jing, they are great translators. Just a few sentences about each that, in a paragraph, that's probably it. You can like combine like Buddhism are great supported by the emperor, okay? Like Liang Wudi, right? It's one of them. And let's see, just one or two, like in Tang Dynasty, the Empress Wu Zetian, it's one of them, give some examples to cover the supportive paragraph. Just one or two sentences. You don't have to list like that bullet point. That will work. Okay. So that's that. One more thing that Venerable Kong Yan wants me to, and reminds me to advise everyone, relax. It's not the end of the world. Just relax. You guys are doing very well already for my class, and I believe that for other teachers' class also. Keep in mind that you have an A, that's 40% already, you already earned. Okay, so if your goal is that I want an A+, then you can stress yourself out whatever you want to. But if you want to just have a decent grade, relax. You're almost halfway there already.
Yeah, there's no valedictorian in this class, so or in this course, so yeah, don't stress yourself out.
Yeah.
We don't know that.
Part of the learning also.
Yeah.
Just learning, and I'm pretty sure everybody will pass this homework course.
I do have a question. I don't know if you know the answer, Caddy. We might
Okay,
have to
absolutely.
ask Kong Yan. But I know that the people at Sri Lanka are also going to grade our exams along with you teachers. And then our actual grade will be the average of those two. Is that also true on our assignments? Or is that only the assignments, the homework from the class? Is that only based on your grade, or is that also going to be
The 40%
Mhm.
is based on my grade.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Okay. 60%, I have to grade it, but it's not totally based on my grade.
Right, it's an average for the exams.
Yeah, it's an
But the
average.
rest is completely from your grade. So
Yes.
everyone can rest
40% is-
assured, whatever grade you got on your homework, that's 40%.
Yes.
And you only need, I think it was, 50% to get a C in the class? So
Yeah.
if you can get like 10% on your tests, you're going to pass the class.
But
And
I
if
will,
you,
yeah.
right. So don't worry so
Technically-
much about it. Yeah.
Well, now I was stressing about the math because I was like, all right, what's the math of 60% and 40%? I can't do that much math.
Thanks for doing the math, Sherry.
Yeah.
And I think I gave Lisa an example, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I gave Lisa an example.
I understand a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'll just count on you at the very end, whatever that is.
I honestly think I did the math last year, and you could get a 15%. It was either a 15 or a 20%. It was really low. You could basically put your name on the paper and just like write gibberish and probably be okay. As long as you throw in some Buddhist terms, you're good.
5 points per question. Yeah, that's all you need.
And an A is only, I think, 70%. That counts as like highest grades in your class. That's
Yeah.
that
It's-
term
it's
that
not
they
gonna
had.
come.
So
It's not-
Yeah, you don't need to get perfect scores to have a good grade and be able to go on in the program. So.
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
so you do submit our homework assignments with, so there's a whole packet with the final. And I remember you telling us, and other instructors have told us too, that that they will see when we write something good, the teachers notes that so that the Sri Lankan graders can see that. So they'll be seeing a body of work for us. So,
Yes,
um,
yes.
and
And so far, when I look at the spreadsheet that I submit,
so far so good. Yes.
so everybody is doing very well, very well. Okay, so you got nothing to worry, unless you know you want to stress yourself. Like I have to get a A+. I want to get 110%. Then you know, then that's a personal goal to achieve.
Mhm.
I don't
that-
discourage that, but I don't encourage that.
Yeah, well, that means they're an overachiever, and we're going to take them out back of Chan and beat the heck out of them later for bringing up the average.
Some of us want to know everything because
Oh,
to
Kyle's an
see something,
overachiever.
you want to know it. So I'm like, I see all these notes, I have to learn them all. Even though I know I don't have to learn them all for the class, I feel like I have to learn them all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would sure be
Learning.
nice to know, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
It will be nice to learn, but you know, because we are all teachers. And the reason to, you know, to learn is that eventually we have to teach, right? So,
And when we get that answer, we can't answer. We say, I will look that up for you and get back with you.
so being that said, do you guys have any, you know, questions on the study note, on any topic? I cannot, because it's been so long. I will try to dig out the answers for you. But basically, if you see, there are 8 questions and you only need to pick 4, right? Is that 8 questions or 6 questions?
8
8.
questions.
And you pick 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Yeah.
my plan of attack is you gave us conveniently eight notes. And to go through and summarize those into my own words into basically an essay. And so summarize your notes into like an essay and then yeah, use that as my guide for the final. Would that be safe?
I would say yes.
Okay.
You'll get A+.
But bear in mind though, you know, all the questions that I submit, I don't make the final decision.
Oh yeah, I know.
There might be variations.
Right.
Okay. So to be safe, yeah, I would do what Corey is doing. But if you think that you're confident enough, you know, maybe you rule out 1 or 2 that you really are not familiar with.
Yeah. And my other problem, and I hope I'm not alone in this, is like I get a lot of overlap from other classes, and I'm sure it'll be fine when I answer the essay. I don't think I'd be penalized for it or anything, at least, but like I would probably like start sidetracking into another class in my words, like, you know, just.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand, like Abhidhamma.
Yeah.
The Abhidhamma that we went over is very brief. Remember, it's only, you know, 1 topic out of 8.
Right.
But the Abhidhamma you study, you know, later on, it's a very concentrated, very deep topic, and it's only 1 topic, right? It's very easy to mix that up,
Mm-hmm.
right? But one thing that my advice would be like Abhidhamma that we study in class is only refer to Vasubandhu. Okay, so if you understand, the theory or the main thinking of Vasubandhu, then you're already halfway there. Okay, and if you refer to study note number 2, it basically talks a lot of Vasubandhu on, the Abhidhamma. Now, don't mix the Vasubandhu with the Yogacara school. It's different. Abhidhamma Kosa comes before the Yogacara, even though they both based it on the secret teaching. So don't get those mixed up, okay? With the Yogacara school, if you're interested, I will focus on the 3 natures, like, the note that I sent you guys. Okay. So if you want to go into Yogacara, then you might want to, or 成为时论, it's focus on that. So that might help you, separate the Abhidhamma from the other class. Okay, then I'm looking at let's see. The 3 characters. It's not that difficult, actually. Okay, don't get scared by that.
3 characters of
the 3 natures.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the 3 natures. So and then it's easy to put into essay also. It combines with the 成为时论. Okay, the 2 of them, because it's in the same lineage.
So for people who might struggle with the bullet points, like looking at your notes, Caddy, like if you were to just remove the bullet points and put those all in like a period at the end, you'll probably be okay. So
Yeah.
they're already in sentences. Just don't add the bullet points and you'll be fine. Yeah. You're actually saving yourself a step by not putting bullet points in.
Mm-hmm. Good idea. Good suggestion. So I think, Corey, you got a very good approach that, you just summarize those and then focus on the one that you are familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So far, I've picked one subject and it's been on the final. So in the previous 4 classes, but let's hope my luck holds out and I can and keep doing that.
Yeah, I put a lot of bullet points just to draw your attention, but yeah, you can, like, if you summarize those, may make it easier for you to remember. So it's let's see, I'm looking at one. The problem is, I don't have my computer with me. So let's see if I can. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, like, the Prajna Paramita, those topics we are very familiar with, right? And you know, it's so easy for us to memorize, you know, what are the 6 prajna paramitas in the Mahayana, you know, tradition, and explain that, right? So those are the topics that are very easy, that we can, you know, actually um, we can actually answer them, you know, very easily. The new things would be the Lotus Sutra and also the Pure Land School. You know, during our day to day, we don't have much time, and the Queen Sumara Sutra. Those are more like new to us. But other stuff, I think, you know, during our Dharma talks, our study, you know, during our study group, we are already very familiar with those topics. But even the Pure Land School and also the Lotus Sutra, they're not that difficult, honestly, you know. So just go through the study note. And hopefully there is not much alteration from the university. I don't know, you know, previously, do you guys find that there are different questions?
It varies. So like Indian history was like spot on, like identical. Pali was not. They added 2 changes that that I'm aware of that I caught after the fact. And humanistic Buddhism was nothing like the mock exam.
What Buddhism? I'm sorry.
Humanistic Buddhism was nothing like the mock exam. And what was the other class?
Oh, you already took the final exam for humanistic?
Yeah.
I think he means ethics and meditation.
Ethics and meditation. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Ethics and meditation was nothing like the mock exam. But I'm missing a class. The last one was similar. It wasn't like spot on, but it varies. There's been no rhyme or reason to it though, so I'm not putting all my baskets in one egg and hoping that they're going to be the same.
I think we have a little bit of advantage here, because you know, unless they have someone really familiar with all the topics about, you know, the Chinese Buddhism.
I was thinking that same thing. I had that thought because it occurred to me, and I was thinking,
but
wait
no
a
guarantee,
second.
okay, no guarantee.
Yeah.
So if we were to make a bet, maybe this is the one they don't do much changing on, huh?
I have no idea. I didn't say it. Okay.
Not their thing.
They're like, all right, what do we got here? And Mahayana. Oh, okay, let's put this one to the side.
Let's
Next one, humanistic
fingers
Buddhism.
crossed. Yeah.
Oh, fundamental teachings. That was the last class. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. So unless, you know, we have somebody really look into the 8 topics that you know of or Chinese Buddhism, then, you know, they may come up with something else that we don't know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy,
Yes.
I was thinking about the Siddharma theory. If you today have to explain to elementary school students, how do you simply tell them what it is?
Okay. let me pull that up real quick. So let's see if I go to.
Can we tell them to come back in a year or two? We'll talk to them then.
I'm sorry. Let me
Sure.
see. So when did I send out?
May 30th,
May 30th.
the email.
The email. Okay. Study note.
I can dump it in the chat if you want. If it makes it easier for you.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So, like, the study note that I have, I would, start explain where does it come from, the Dharma theory. Okay. This actually is a term as the Abhidhamma developed. The Dharma theory mainly referred to the Abhidhamma. And we have the function, according to my note. And then we can use the Abhidhamma kosa, how to explain, what Dhamma is. Okay. Then what are the characteristics based on, before, because the Abhidhamma started from the Sarvastivadins, remember? And then Vasubandhu go and study that and then come up with the kosa that counter at certain points. Okay, so all these ABC here are actually based on the Sarvastivadins Abhidhamma to further develop into based on, according to Vasubandhu, how to explain what a Dhamma means and their functions. Does that answer your question?
So basically, it's being developed to further explain what Dharma is.
Yes. Yes. And then you have to, explain what means by Abhi, what means by Dhamma.
Okay.
Do you agree, Sherry? Sherry will be giving a talk on that. We'll be giving a talk on that later on, right?
Yeah, I said I might give a talk about that this fall. So yeah, just remember that the other course we had that was strictly about Abhidharma is only talking about Theravada Dharma specifically. So it's the foundation that's built upon for these other Abhidharmas. So we're looking at Mahayana and Bodhisattva path, for instance, developments when we're talking about Vasubandhu and Yogacara and all these other things. So you'll see differences between this and the other class we had. But of course, the other class we had, it sounds silly to say that it was basic because it was so complicated, but it's really like a basis for the Abhidhamma.
Mm-hmm.
And so just remember that's a separate school, and then this is a separate school. So don't confuse the don't take Abhidharma theory that you're learning for Vasubandhu and use that when we're talking about the Abhidhamma Sangaha in the other class, because they're different texts. And in these texts, they're also debating each other really. And we don't always know that because we don't know all the schools that they're talking about and all the people that they're referring to. But some of these things, they're having arguments with other people, and we don't know about it today because we're not aware of all these other people.
Mm-hmm.
But,
And do we have a choice that we don't want to get involved with all those arguments?
Yeah, what Caddy gave us is, basically just the meat and potatoes of what Vasubandhu was saying. And we don't get into all of his discussions with other people.
Right.
But when if you look at the text and try to read something yourself, to back up like what you're reading from Caddy, you'll see all this other stuff as well. And it may not be important for the exam. So just, focus on what Caddy's talking about.
Great, thank you.
Any other question on other subject? Looks like you guys are well prepared for it.
Yeah, glad you feel that way. So I'm confident.
Okay, at least for my class, I think you guys are doing very well.
I started reading your study guides and I was like, holy crap, what did I do after class? Did I just like dump everything out of my brain and make room for the next one?
Yeah, me too.
I was like, wow, I forgot so much. I mean, granted, reading it brings it all back, but I was just like, wow, I don't remember some of this stuff. And
That's why I prepared, the study note. We talk a lot during the class. The information is so vast, from one end to the other end. For example, when we're talking about the Prajna Paramita, we talk about the variable master instance discourses on Prajna Paramita, and then we refer back to the teachings. It's so many information, so much information in there. That's why I prepared the study note and saying that if there is a question asked, here would be the answer that I'm looking for. That is, if the same question is asked, on the final, here is the answer that I'm looking for, because I grade part of the final, I grade it and then they grade it and then they average it. Okay, so at least I have some input in that to make it easier for you guys. Okay, so I think you guys are well prepared. Just unless they totally turn what I have prepared upside down, then I have no control. Right? And then, how further can they, get away from what we have studied? Because those are the topics that we studied, right? So it has been within the boundary.
Scope of the class. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we do our best. And don't forget that, you guys are doing very well, on your homework. See?
Okay.
So you have nothing to worry. Relax and enjoy. Enjoy the exam. Okay? Be a piece of cake for you guys.
Joy and exam. Those two words you don't hear together very often.
Yeah, enjoy exam equals root canal.
if you've ever had a root canal, those are quite enjoyable, actually, because normally
I've had two.
In a great deal of pain when they come around. So,
oh yeah. Uh-huh.
No pain, no gain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just focus on the notes, and you guys will do fine. Any question about other subjects like the Lotus Sutra, any other?
Back to what you submit to university, you're not submitting our mock exams. Thank you.
They don't even, as far as I know, that they don't even know that what there is a mock exam.
Are you afraid they're gonna combine the two and take away points? I would be, but
Yes,
The
yes.
mock exam
So they don't know
Sure.
what is on your mock exam questions.
they don't.
So you
But
can
you know what I submitted for the final.
okay.
And the final, it's not 100% equal to the mock exam.
Not 100%, but 80%.
You said it, not me.
We can use it as a possible study guide.
Right.
And that's what I said, when Lisa asked me the Dhamma theory, to begin with, I was a little bit, I couldn't find the file because I didn't send out that, right? So, it's been so long, and I said, I might have made a mistake, sent out the wrong study note. And then I find out that, two different interests, okay? Yeah. So, but you guys are doing very well on your papers, and that counts for 40% already, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't mean that you don't have to study. That's not totally not what I mean. But I mean that, just relax. You guys are on the right track already. Okay. Yeah, at least for my class. The other class, I don't know. I'm pretty sure, the other teachers are here to help also.
Yeah, we meet with Dotto tomorrow, so.
Oh, okay. Good.
I wish he would have given us a great 8 study guides like you did, Caddy. Because I've been going through his PowerPoints and I'm like, whoa, man, the Caddy's class is a lot more straightforward. Because of your study guides, they're really helpful. So thank you. Because going through his stuff lately, I've been like, this is a lot of slides to go through.
Yeah, because during the class I have to do that because it's a teaching, it's a presentation,
Yeah.
and to get us to learn. But when we nail down to what we need to pinpoint on, I send out those study guides so that we have a little direction to go. We don't have to go through slide after slide after slide just to find out what are you going to ask, right? Because the information is so vast. And don't forget that, within, was it 3 months or 2 months? 2 months, right? We have to cover all 8 subjects from various angles. It's not easy, guys. I'm so proud of you guys.
Betty have a questions. The principal teaching and purpose of the Nikaya. You have it on the table. So if we want to write on that, how do we write them all on an essay?
Okay.
Because you have like a comparable.
It
Yeah,
might
you
not be
just-
on the exam.
what you need is just like on the top, you see, okay, let me pull that file up.
So, if you're doing it as a comparison, I'd probably just write it out in sentences like, the Nikaya is a basket of discourses, whereas the Agama is also, as well as the Agama. And then when you get into the differences, be like, the Nikaya means both the collection of and group of blah, 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 whereas the Agama has the basic meaning of traditional and canonical text and authority. As opposed, just take the graph and
Nikayas.
yeah, I was just reading from the top 2 boxes in her notes. But yeah, she has 5 listed though. Is that what you're asking about?
The 4 Nikayas, the teaching, and then the discourse, journals of disciples, and then listed all in a column on different things. So you write on each of them.
Right, you're talking about the Dirgha Kama and the Madhyama.
Yeah. Majjhima Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya. So it's not like a comparative, it's just like you write each and describe them, the purpose of each. Like
Well,
Samyutta Nikaya is a discourse, and you write down and explain what are there.
well, on the mock exam, the
Mhm.
question was to compare the Nikaya and the Agama.
Right, but now the study note Patty sent do not have that agama anymore. It's a different one. It's a principal teaching and purpose of the Nikaya.
Yeah.
So it's just the table, the table.
Well, it came with the teaching on the Papancha. So
Yes, this
I'm
one the papancha, the bowl of honey.
I'm
So
thinking she may still want us to compare it.
we check with Patty.
I'm looking at,
The study notes that you sent us,
uh-huh,
let's just talk about principle, teaching, and purpose of the Nikaya. Not like the one earlier in May and in September. That one is comparable. Compare Nikaya and Agama. And then with you want us at that time to explain the 7 cases and 3 investigation. But the study note that you sent in November is talk about the Papancha, sequence of Papancha, and then the principle, teaching, and purpose of the Nikaya. I
Okay.
think that is a different questions, right?
let me ask you one question, because, I can't take out my notes right now.
You see in the chat, I
Oh, in the
think
chat? Okay,
Francesca sent that in the chat.
okay, let me take a look on the chat.
Study note AN-1. Francesca, is that a file?
I cannot open it though.
I'll upload it.
Okay.
I have to
Okay.
close. It won't upload it if it's open for some
Maybe you
weird
can
reason.
share screen.
Yeah, can somebody share the screen?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, so she's asking because in the mock exam, you had us
This is
compare the Nikaya
earlier one.
with
Okay,
the Agama. Yeah, that's
one?
not the one you sent out.
Corey,
neither one of
this is
those.
the one sent out in September.
Oh, this is from the study notes that she sent out.
No, can
No.
you get the one from the November study note?
Did I download the wrong one?
Yeah, those are her old study notes, not the
Wait, that
most
one is
recent
the
one
old
she sent.
Is in that one, I think, for our study.
Um,
And you're able to find the,
yeah, I got it.
okay.
okay, okay.
Uh,
Let me ask you this question. On the mock exam,
that's the same one.
No, sorry, this is the same one.
Yeah.
this is not the one.
No, let me share, let me see.
It's the one from study files.
If you go to your email, November the 20th, can you find it?
Oh, that's. Oh yeah, I'll be darned.
Hmm?
I said, I'll be darned. There's a whole bunch of them right there.
Okay, let me see if I
You
can
find it?
Yeah.
I was thinking we just might have a question on summarizing them and their purpose.
It's,
For some reason, I
even
got
though
it.
they put down study note AN-1 intro to Agama and Nikaya, but in the notes,
When did I send it out? Do you know?
November the 20th,
November the 20th.
maybe Corey already got it.
I
Yes.
just put that in the
Okay.
Yeah,
chat.
this is the one.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Okay.
This is the study note that I sent out
In
for
November.
Review.
right?
The final study.
Right, the final study. Okay.
Okay, yeah, so I was, as you know, because this is in a table form and we need to write it in an essay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say, like, if you look at that, you have different categories, right? At the top, at the top, you have
Yes.
different categories. For example, you have the discourse, you have the
Journals of
journals
disciple.
of principle and all those, okay? So if I were going to write in the essay form, I would say the principle, teaching, and purpose of Nikaya would be like this, okay? Then say, I would use, like, how do I say it? Okay. Like the top row, the discourse, like Samyutta Nikaya, it would be like this. And then, like to, all these, I would list, by the Nikaya.
Okay, yeah, just like explain them separately.
Right.
Four section.
Being that said, I would like to ask a question. If you remember on the mock exam,
Mhm.
do I ask about the ball of honey?
No.
No, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I will pay attention to the ball of honey,
Okay.
Pay attention.
which is, the process of papancha. Okay. Yeah.
So we can explain
We
using
can explain it.
tables.
Yeah, we can explain it, with the table, what does it mean by how is the sequence of papancha? Where does it start? What is more important? Contact is the most important there here, right?
Mhm.
And then explain the entire process. And then later on, you see, for Thanisaro Bhikkhu's explanation on the sutra.
Mhm.
This one, it's not that difficult. Just explain the process of papancha.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And also for Nikaya, I put on this study note, I put the let's scroll back down to the table. Can we scroll back down to the table?
The top.
Yeah. I put the principle, teaching, and purpose of the Nikaya there, just in case, there are some alternations. But I would focus on the comparison. So two things on the Nikaya, the comparison and process of papancha.
Okay.
Pay more attention to that. But like I said, there might be alternations that we can see.
Which comparison? The comparison,
The first study note for the mock exam.
the
Comparison of the Nikaya
Nikaya and the
Agama.
Agama,
and the Agama.
but then to use the ball of honey rather than the
The 7
7 cases and 3 investigations.
Okay.
Yeah, focus on that.
Okay. Just in case they change it.
So if you're comfortable with your mock exam, that's one set of alternation that you can see that might be an alternation there,
Okay.
right?
Mock exam, we kind of still remember what you're teaching, and now we kind of forgot everything.
But I didn't put on my study note for the mock exam. I did not have MN 18, right? I have the other one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that means, you know, for the final, I will pay attention to that. But then I cannot do it exactly the same as the mock exam. So I have to change something.
Okay.
But I will pay attention to the comparison. And also, let me see
And
if I lied.
So I gotta go back to the Agamas.
Okay, let's see. I will pay attention to compare Nikaya and Agama, and also the process of Papancha for the topic of Nikaya.
mhm.
Were the Agamas the later translations in China of the Nikayas, or did they come about in tantamount, like at the same time? Because I mean, they are just the Nikayas, right?
The Nikaya is actually from the Pali Canon.
Yeah,
The
but
Agama is a part of it from the Sanskrit.
oh, so is it separate teaching? Because I know the Nikayas are Pali, but so the Agamas are Sanskrit then, but it's completely different teaching, or it's similar teaching? Is there overlapping?
They're overlapping. There are some similarity. There are also difference.
Okay.
For example, one topic for the Prajna part, there are some discourses in Agama that is not shown in the Nikaya. Okay. So the Nikaya, we know that it's straightforward, very straightforward. It's from the Theravadan tradition. It's from the Pali Canon. There are 5 Nikayas, right? But for the Agama, because 5 Nikayas. The Agama, basically they're 4 here. Basically they're 4. But we cannot say straightly from Sanskrit because, original teaching of the Buddha actually came from India, right? And then traveled north through the Middle Asia, And then, some of the teachings got lost, some of the teachings got added to it. So that's why, part of the discourses in the Agama does not exactly matching the Nikayas. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. That's getting those gears turning.
Yeah. They are not straightly from Sanskrit. The reason is when they're going through the Middle Asia, their different languages has been added to it, and they got translated into the Agama, the Chinese version. So we cannot say it's 100% translated from Sanskrit, the Agamas. But Nikaya, we do know that it's straightly from the Pali Canon.
Yeah, one way to phrase this, if Katie agrees with it, would be that the Nikayas are strictly the Pali Canon from one school, the ancestor of the Theravadins, while the Agamas in China may contain things from various schools found in, you remember there were 18 older schools. Yeah. So the Agamas may have things from various schools that went through Gandhara, went through the Silk Road, went through Kucha, all those places, and then came to China and were collected because they collected everything in China, yes. Very scholarly, and they want to collect everything they can. And so they preserve everything. While the Theravadas were very conservative and only wanted what they had in their own lineage and nothing else.
Yes.
So Agama really has many more schools represented, and some of them are quite early, of course, because they find scraps sometimes from Gandhara from the 1st century BCE even, which is the same time the Pali Canon was being written down. And they have found things that are similar to what's in the Agama in China. So, and some of the Agama in China, they can see from the way the words are that maybe it didn't come from Sanskrit specifically, it may have come from Gandharan dialect or whatever. So the Agamas are preserving things from various schools, while the Theravada Pali Canon is very rigidly from one school in its tradition. Remember, our other teachers kept emphasizing it was conservative, meaning they did not want anything else brought in. Well, China, everybody wants to know, like we were talking about, wanting to know everything there is to know. They brought in anything that was brought in, they kept it.
Yes.
So potentially then there are some teachings in the Agamas, like you just said, Sherry, that could have been written at the same time as the Nikayas. I guess in my head, I always want to think like, oh, it's the Nikayas, it's the OG, it was first, but it's not necessarily that that teaching came first, but there could have been teachings happening at the same time, and those
Right.
happen to be written down in the Agamas. Okay.
And I'm hesitant to say that when we do our work, because we're sending it to people who are
To-
Theravada.
Yeah.
But technically, if you look at the scholarship on it now, they're finding that all the different schools probably started writing down about the same time. It's 2nd, 1st century BCE, which means they were all already around at the same time, and some of these teachings were already there. And some of those really early ones do have some Mahayana things in them. It's probable that the different schools had teachers who emphasized different things, and they were teaching to different people and already in different cultures. And I mean, even if you look at the original Sangha with the Buddha, he's teaching different things to different people based on their capacity and their interests and all that. So that may result in all these different things that we have. They're for different people with different capacities. And
That's very precise. So, any more questions?
I went through the mock exam questions and found the corresponding study guide numbers from you, and I put that in the chat just now.
Okay. Okay.
I think there's not much change on the Pure Land practices and then the core teachings of the Lotus Sutra from the mock exam, the study notes for the final. Not much difference.
Not much difference.
Okay. Except the Srimala Sutra. That one, you asked us to explain the Tathagata theory, but the final study notes do not have that.
Okay.
Srimala. Instead, I was quite instead you say comparing the attainment of the Buddha and the Arhat for the Queen Srimala.
Okay. Let me look that up. I have to close all these. Okay, for the Queen Sumara, I would base on, the study note for the final exam.
Mm-hmm. So why here you said compare the Buddha and the Arhat in this teaching?
I have a chart for that, right?
Right.
Yeah, just put it in paragraph format.
Okay.
What's the number of that study note?
QS-1.
Yes, QS-1.
I think it's the number 6.
Oh, yeah, okay, thanks.
In my notes from when you reviewed this in class, I wrote very important, and then I did not write what it was. I tried to go back and listen, and that's one of the recordings that ended up having a problem and did not go on. I just wrote that it was under signification of the ultimate
Yes.
and under the table. And so I was trying to figure out if the very important part was perhaps
Very
The fifth-
important
the
is to
fifth
know,
everything.
is to know the fourth significance to explain the sutra.
Mhm.
That's
And
it.
so the main difference between, the big difference between the Buddha and the Arhat was that the Buddha cut off all 5 entrenchments, while the Arhat cut off 4. And I'm assuming that the 4 that the Arhat cut off are the first 4 entrenchments, and then the Buddha cuts off the last entrenchment of the subtlest defilements and ignorance. Is that correct?
Okay. Okay. If I ask the question, let me go to there. If I ask the question, what are the 4 significations to explain the Sumana Sutra? What would you answer?
Well, I would list the 4 and then explain as much about each one as I could and try to point out the differences between the
Good.
Arhat and the Buddha for each of them.
Okay. That's it.
Okay.
You said there are 4. There are 3. Significance of
Yeah, I see 3.
equality,
too.
ultimate, and acceptance.
Right. That's where I get 3 too.
Well, then you would start your sentence off with, this is a trick question. There are only 3.
3. Right?
This is a trick question.
As we learned in class, there are 3. Our instructor told us in class.
There are 3.
There are only 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 significance to explain the sutra.
Equality, the ultimate, acceptance.
Yes, this is in the study notes.
Okay. The equality.
Ultimate and the acceptance.
And the lions.
No?
The lion's number 4. He's lying in wait.
Try
Because
that,
I
we'll
cannot
if it
see the
works.
notes, so.
Hmm?
Let me see. Why did I put 4 then? Did I put 4? There should be 4 if I put 4. Okay.
Miss 1.
3 significance to explain the sutra. The significance of equality, no discrimination. All sentient
We
beings
will
are
put down number 4, significance to be announced later.
significant of the ultimate. the significance of equality, significance of ultimate. What is that? What is the next one? There must be 4. I know that there is 4. Significance of acceptance.
Maybe we have to look our notes or on the class notes. Class note.
Did I change?
Yeah. I could not find it in my notes. That's one of the things.
Yeah, there are 3 though. What's the reason?
You're not counting the 5 grounds separately, are you?
Or maybe the attainment of the Buddha and the Arhat is one significant thing. Because I don't know how to put you know, the attainment of the Buddha and the Arhat.
Oh,
Where
yeah,
is this under?
yeah, right, you're right. The 5 grounds are one of the,
Significance.
yeah,
It should be by it. So because that's why I was going to ask you, what is this? Why suddenly come like Buddha and Arhat? What is this under? You know, because it's not like under significance A or B.
right, yeah.
Or C.
So they are the 4, the 5 grounds.
So significance of the 5 grounds.
Actually, you know, I need to go and look at. I might have changed the 4 to 3, but
Okay.
okay, it could be a mistake on the 4. It could be the 3. I might have changed the questions
Mhm.
back to the 3. So
So
yeah, just memorize the 3.
the 3. So the comparison of the Buddha and the Arhat is after the 3 significance.
The comparison is, let's see,
Because you put under B.
I put under the significance of ultimate.
Ultimate, yes. So this is the one of the significance of ultimate.
Yeah.
Okay.
That B's long.
The 5 grounds, it's too difficult to explain.
Mhm.
Okay, because it's not.
We can just briefly
You can just
write.
talk about the
Yeah,
entrenchment.
just mention it.
Just
Just mention it.
So just
So-
briefly mention it.
So is the 4th signification the 5 grounds or the attainment?
No, I think Katie said only 3.
Okay,
And the attainment of the Buddha and the Arhat, they are under the significance of the ultimate.
so they just stay there and we stick with 3.
Right.
Okay,
And we don't have to explain in details the 5 grounds because they're actually when I read it, it's quite you know, kind of difficult to.
It's very complicated.
Yeah, very complicated. So I was thinking that I'm just going to write 5 by the 5 grounds. That's it.
Mhm, mhm.
Under the Arahat, we have B, Nirvana without residue. So we have is that Arahats with both residue and without residue?
Mhm.
They've,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
yeah, because there are two kind of arhats there.
Not to sound like I completely zoned out, but what are you guys talking? Is this on the mock exam?
No, this is
No.
the final.
This is what?
Well,
You
the
just told us all the questions that's
study
gonna be
notes
on the
for
exam.
final.
Uh-huh.
I'm with you, Corey.
Final,
Corey, did you see the notes on the number 6, study notes number 6?
QS-1.
You open
Queen-
that one.
Queen's from all of the Lion's Roar.
Yeah,
Because the mock exam is completely different from this.
right.
So we
Okay,
have
so
to
you
do
just
that.
brought that up. Okay.
Yeah, we talk about this one.
Okay. I thought you were talking about a question on the mock exam, and I'm like, I don't see anything about the 3 or 4, except for
No, no, not
so,
the mock
This
exam.
was a hypothetical question.
okay.
So,
That's fine.
yeah, this is the Queen's Ceremony on the final study. And
Yeah.
Patty has a table there, say compare the Buddha and the Arhat.
Okay.
And because I was a little bit confused on where this under. So now Patty explained it's under the significance of ultimate.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we don't have to explain in details the 5 abiding grounds.
It's
Because
way
it
too
will be a-
complicated.
It will be a lot to write also anyway. We
Yeah,
don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
So a brief, see, okay, thank you.
What about the cycles of existence? Is that important to include?
The cycle.
Yeah, that's on the second page under the
the
ultimate.
of
It
this-
has the 2 cycles of existence, fragmentary and miraculous.
Yeah, because Katie said that cut off from the 2 types of birth and death. So maybe we just say what are there? The fragmentary birth and death and
Miraculous.
miraculous birth and death.
Mhm.
I don't think we need to explain on those as well because it
Yeah.
will be a lot to write as well.
Yeah.
For the final, I don't think we can write that much. I mean,
No.
that it will be a long answer.
Well, don't forget, we're not writing, we're typing. You can
Oh,
type.
typing, yeah, but still.
Some of us are slower typing than writing.
Oh, you're allowed to type, huh? Oh, because it's.
Yeah, now it's on the
Online.
online, yes.
Yeah.
So
So-
I still think it's a lot to type anyway. I mean, a lot to memorize as well.
Yeah.
That too.
I would say, the Sumara Sutra, it's a bit, compared to the rest of them, it's not quite familiar, within our group because, it's,
Yeah, I only read that once in the Chinese, but not very familiar.
yeah, it's,
But when it's come to English, I have.
it's a bit, different from what we have learned before.
Yes.
So, but good thing is that we have the Chinese book from Miao Yun that Master In-sun,
Yeah.
gave a discourse on this one. So when I do prepare, when I prepare the class, I basically base on translated from that book from Master In-sun.
Okay.
So, but to me, I'm not familiar with the sutra at all. So, and this is about Tathagata Gaba, remember?
Mhm.
Okay. So, I'm so sorry that I might not explain it very clearly because, I myself, it's not quite familiar. All I learned is from the book that, by Master In-sun.
I'm just gonna memorize it.
So it's a lot to memorize, okay?
Yeah, I'm just gonna write a summary.
So, Kathy,
Yes.
because there are 2 types of a question, either Tathagata Garbha theory or to write about the significations
Mhm.
to the sutra. And if we do have to choose, which one should we focus better?
I would focus on the signification.
Okay.
Okay. But I could be wrong. Like I said, they might alter.
Okay. Great. Thanks.
Looks like I'm giving away all my questions here.
No, you just explained to us the study notes.
Okay, good.
We still didn't know what you have. Because you said that they're gonna change it, so
Yes.
we are
Yeah.
still.
You're just giving us broad, general topics, that we
Yes.
might
I mean,
possibly ask.
you know what to focus on other, the study.
Mhm.
With not like because there are a lot of things there.
Yeah. That, I mean, too much information. Any other question?
I'm okay now.
Good. I think you guys will do good. Don't worry too much about it. Relax.
Okay. That should be enough to work out.
And you have other classes too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Altogether 4.
So 2 days, huh? The 10th and the 11th, 2 full
Mm.
days.
Yes.
Yep.
And your exam is first.
Oh, okay. In the meantime, if you guys have any question, just call me. You have my phone number, right? If
Okay.
not,
Yep.
you can write down if you want. Or ask Corey. Corey has my number.
Corey is not available. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have your number. I texted you.
Just call me anytime. I'm a night hawk.
So 2 a.m.
2 a.m. is fine. 4 a.m.
It's
is
only midnight her time. And are
any
you
time is fine.
able to get into the Slack group right now where you are?
I tried, but for some reason it's thrown me out from time to time.
Okay,
So
so we shouldn't rely on that to reach you.
yeah. Give me a call, text me, email me. Because I know that the final is coming up. I'll pay very close attention to you guys, and hopefully it will be helpful. But relax.
One last question. Remember the 7 parables?
Which one?
The 7 parables you told us before, the 2, 5, and 7 are quite interesting.
Is this still true?
Have your interests changed?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, impermanent, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The parable will be under what?
And the Lotus Sutra.
Okay. Let me see.
That is study note number 8.
Okay. What did I put on there?
No, you put all the parables up.
All the parables. What are the most important parables there?
You told us, during the class, at the mock exam, you said something like 2, 5, and 7 are quite interesting.
Okay.
But then on the mock exam, you said parable number 7.
In the class, I think. I forgot. I think I wrote down something.
Okay. So I would focus on on, because this is a very important one. The 3 cards and the burning house. That is very important, right?
Mhm.
Or are we agree?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay.
It's number 1.
That one is number what? Number
Oh, yeah,
1 is that
the
right?
number 1.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah, but I remember this story come out again and again in
yeah,
in different
yes. So
media.
it is important. And then also, we have to know that on each sutra, especially the Lotus Sutra,
Mhm.
what are the core teaching of that, right? We have to know the core teaching,
Right.
right?
Mhm. Yes, we have that.
Yeah. So, and that would be, I think that topic is pretty straightforward, right?
Yes.
Yeah, compared to the others, the Lotus Sutra is pretty straightforward. The Pure Land is pretty straightforward.
The Pure
The,
Land is
the
very straightforward.
history of Chinese Buddhism is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And we are very familiar with the Prajna Paramita, right?
Mm.
And some of us are also very familiar with the school of Yogacara, right? The 3 natures and all those. So the study note, if you focus on the study notes, that it's going to help a lot.
Mhm.
Okay, any other question?
Yes. What is your mailing address for your chocolate bribes? If we were in person, hello. I was gonna bring ice cream for finals,
Oh,
dark chocolate decadence,
that's okay. I have a bag of chocolate here.
Okay.
And then I have Haagen-Dazs in my fridge.
See?
Because, you cannot do without them in 100 and some degree, right? Without air conditioning,
Mhm.
sitting in the top of the building of the apartment. We have like the 3-story apartment and we are at the 3rd story. The only good thing that we have elevator. So, but it's so hot that, I have my fan like that.
It's 75 here right now.
Yeah, today is just heaven. Yesterday was just heaven. But 3 days ago, I miss St. Louis so much.
Isn't
My
that
heart.
odd to think you're missing St. Louis summer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we stay away from St. Louis summer, but we come to Seattle record high.
Is it dry or is it humid?
Humid.
Oh no.
Because it's by the ocean, remember? The Pacific
True,
Ocean
you're
is
getting
on the
those
left-hand
winds.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
And then there are a lot of lakes here.
Oh.
So it's pretty sticky. But, these couple of days are okay. So I heard that Missouri is pretty contagious now. So you guys, take very good care. Stay safe. Wear mask.
Mhm.
Keep
Yes,
social
ma'am.
distance.
The e-news is telling us that the
Yeah.
Delta variant is starting to hit St. Louis. It
Yeah.
moved in from Kansas City. It's
Lots
coming
of
in.
places.
Sorry.
Hands, sanitize them. Do whatever to protect them.
Yes. Yes.
I heard it was hitting pretty hard in Oregon too.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not remembering right.
Yeah.
Oregon?
We're pretty far away from Oregon.
Yeah,
so
not
we're
safe
still
enough.
about like 5 to 8 hours driving.
All right.
Actually, no, it's 2.5. So,
How fast do you drive, right?
so you guys, good luck on the exam. Like I said, any question, you come up with any doubt, email or call me anytime. Okay, 24/7.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Thank
I
you.
don't want to, detain, take up more your study time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get together sometime. Let's have a class reunion sometime.
Yeah, in 2023. When they say there's no more virus.
No more
Yeah.
virus. Yes. Okay. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Caddy.
Caddy.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
See you some